Late at night on the 23rd of April, 2022, at 11 p.m., a man was unwinding in his quiet house, talking to his dogs the way people do when the calm feels too still. The place had that soft nighttime hush, where every small sound seemed louder and the dogs were relaxed beside him, without a hint of concern. He kept chatting with them, feeling comfort in their presence and the familiar routine, when something subtle but unmistakably out of place shifted behind him. Clip. One of the chairs at the dinner table leaned back on its own. One of the chairs at the dinner table leaned back on its own, as if someone invisible had pushed off from the floor, then slowly settled back onto all fours again like nothing had happened. His dogs froze, their ears lifting slightly, but they didn't bark, almost like they sensed something, but chose to stay quiet. The man felt that strange tightening in his chest, the kind that comes when you know you witnessed something you can't explain, but your mind tries to rationalize anyway. There were no drafts, no pets near the dining area, no one else in the house. The moment left him wondering if something unseen had been sitting there all along, listening just as closely as the dogs were. Chris tried to shake off the memory of the chair moving on its own, but a few nights later, his wife mentioned she had been hearing scratching noises coming from their bedroom, the kind that made her feel watched, even when the lights were on. Wanting to prove nothing was wrong, he grabbed his phone and switched to the handheld camera, recording from inside of their bedroom.
But wifey said she'd been hearing scratching noises, or like, she said it sounded like something was in the wall in our room. So I'm gonna take a shower, change my clothes, get in some PJs, and we're gonna go, I guess, sit in the middle of the hallway till we hear something and see what we got. Right now it's 6:52 p.m. Yeah, give me a minute. I'm exhausted too. If I fall asleep, I apologize, but we'll check it out.
A couple of faint orbs drifted across the camera lens, and then those strange little taps echoed from the far wall, spaced out just enough to sound deliberate. He took a few careful steps forward, trying to figure out where the scratching had come from, when the door behind him gave a slow creak. He turned in time to watch it inch toward the frame, as if pulled by something steady and unseen. Then it clicked shut completely on its own. Sitting there with only his phone and the sound of his own breathing, Chris felt the same familiar dread creep up his spine, the kind that told him whatever was in their house had finally decided to make itself properly known. In the following video, CCTV footage from a young girl's bedroom captured something that immediately felt off, even before anything visibly happened. The room was quiet and perfectly still, the kind of silence you only get when everyone else in the house is asleep. A small bucket sat tucked against the wall, where it always stayed, untouched for days, and nothing seemed unusual until the camera picked up a faint flicker near the dresser. Without anyone in the room, the bucket suddenly tipped onto its side, then rolled with a slow, deliberate movement straight toward the middle of the floor, as if guided by an unseen force. A couple of soft orbs drifted across the camera, then another passed through the frame, each one subtle but unmistakable against the dark background. There were no pets running around, no vibrations on the floor, no reason for anything to move at all. The bucket eventually stopped in a spot it had never been before, and the room fell still again, like whatever caused it had finished making its point. Watching it back, it felt less like a random accident, and more like something inside the room was trying to draw attention, leaving behind a quiet question the footage couldn't answer. CCTV footage from the kitchen in the same house showed a late quiet hour, the kind where every shadow sits still, and nothing should be moving on its own. After the strange activity in the girl's room, the family had moved her doll onto a high shelf in the kitchen, hoping to keep it out of the way while they tried to figure out what was going on. The room looked normal in the video, but there was an odd heaviness to the frame, like the space was waiting for something to happen. Without anyone nearby, the doll suddenly tipped forward and slipped from the shelf, falling straight to the floor in a way that didn't look accidental or nudged by any draft. The impact made a muted thud, and for a moment nothing else stirred. The shelf was sturdy, the doll balanced carefully earlier that day, and there was no reason it should have moved at all. Watching the footage back, the fall felt intentional, like whatever had rolled the bucket earlier wasn't confined to just one room, and had followed the object into the kitchen to make its presence known again. Late that night, their baby monitor picked up more than just the soft breathing of their other child, showing a dimly lit room that should have been still and safe. The parents had been debating whether to move both kids back into the same room after everything that had been happening, hoping it might make them feel more secure, but the monitor ended up capturing something that pushed that decision into question. An orb drifted across the camera in a slow, floating line, and before either parent could react, the bedroom door eased open by itself, as if someone on the other side had quietly pushed it wide. The baby didn't stir, but the audio picked up a strange mix of noises that didn't belong to a child at all. Soft, irregular sounds that seemed to come from different corners of the room instead of the crib. For a moment, the monitor felt like a window into something they weren't supposed to see. The kind of activity that made every instinct tell them the house wasn't calming down, but escalating. Knowing their child was sleeping peacefully, while the room around them shifted and whispered on its own, made the parents rethink everything, wondering if putting both kids together would really keep them safer, or just expose them both to whatever was moving through the halls at night. After everything that had happened, the parents finally decided it wasn't worth the risk anymore and moved both kids out of their rooms for the night, letting everyone sleep together just to feel a little safer. The house felt different once the bedrooms were empty, quieter in a way that didn't feel comforting, almost like whatever had been causing all the activity was waiting to see what they would do next. They left the doll in their daughter's room from the first clip, partly because they didn't want it near the kids, and partly because they wanted to know if anything else would happen without anyone inside. The CCTV footage showed a close-up shot of the doll, which had been placed upright on a small chair, as it suddenly toppled forward and fell to the floor again, with no one around and no movement anywhere else. It didn't slide or wobble first, it just dropped, like it had been pushed or yanked by something unseen. The chair stayed perfectly steady, the air didn't shift, and after the doll hit the ground, the room went back to being completely silent. That clip ended up being the last strange thing they ever caught on camera, leaving them with the unsettling feeling that the activity had reached its peak and then simply stopped, as if whatever was behind it had finally gotten whatever reaction it wanted. At the Jefferson Palace Hotel, a man working late claimed that a giant decorative candle had been sitting right in the way of a pool player earlier that evening, so he and a co-worker moved it to another spot just to keep the area clear. The night wind was quiet, the lobby mostly empty, and everything felt normal except for the small mistake they didn't notice until later. They had accidentally left the front door unlocked. Hours after closing, they returned to check on something and found the candle lying on the ground, even though no one else was supposed to be inside.
Video of something that happened earlier today. So this candelabra, this big giant one right here, was in the way of one of the pool players last night. So they moved it. It's not the lightest thing to move, but they moved it in front of this door. Well, this door usually stays locked throughout the night. But what happened is we left it unlocked. And when I came in the next day, this candelabra was on the ground right here. Now, we do have a camera right here, but you're not going to see what happened on that camera. The other camera is actually way over here in our ballroom area, aimed through here, and we caught this on camera. I thought someone tried to open the door and to get in, and they knocked the candlestick over and then shut it. Well, I go back and look at the footage, and the door actually opened by itself, which could be explained by wind, but it then shut by itself, which is not explainable by wind. So let me show you, first off, you can open this door, and it has a little stop to it. So it doesn't open, first off, by itself easily. Next, if it hits the base of this, it would take a lot to move this. Now, if it did hit the arm up here, it could still fall over, but it would take a whole lot for it to fall over. Well, let me show you. Let me open the door and show you. I can open the door all the way, and it does not shut by itself. Matter of fact, it opens like that. So the footage you're going to see, you'll notice nobody walks by. You can actually see somebody walk by prior to the footage. You see the shadows there and in that window, but this footage you'll see nobody walks by, door opens by itself, and then the door shuts by itself. So again, I can't really say it's anything paranormal, but definitely not explainable by wind. Let me show you the footage. Okay, so here's the footage. This is in the ballroom area. So I have to zoom way in. You'll hear some music playing in the background because we have some music playing, ambient music. But you'll notice the door at the very top of your screen. In a second, you're going to see somebody walk by. Right there. So there's a shadow of somebody walking by. So when I saw the candlestick on the ground, I figured someone tried to get in or, and accidentally knocked it over. But that's not the case. So I'm going to go to about 25 seconds and you'll see the door open and the candlestick fall. You can tell nobody's there. And now the door shuts. So kind of weird because you notice in the previous video, and I've done a lot of debunking on my videos, but the door doesn't shut by itself. It was not one of those deals where it's like a vacuum with the air conditioning or anything like that. Again, I can't say it's anything paranormal, but can't explain it. So let's watch it again. So we'll just chalk it off to a weird event, and I've never been able to recreate it, but just wanted to show everybody kind of what we capture in this area.
Wondering if someone had tried to break in, they pulled up the CCTV and the man started explaining all the ways the heavy front door couldn't possibly shut on its own, pointing out the weight of the hinges, the way it sticks, and how it takes a firm push to move at all. Then he showed the footage. The door into the establishment slowly eased itself open, like someone invisible had slipped in. Then after a few seconds it closed again with the same steady movement, sealing completely without anyone touching it. The candle's fall suddenly didn't look like an accident, and the unlocked door felt less like a mistake and more like an invitation something had quietly accepted. Later that night in the Jefferson Palace Hotel, one of the staff members was making his rounds through the long hallways, sorting out linens and checking that everything was ready for the morning shift. The halls were usually peaceful at that hour, filled only with the quiet hum of the building and the soft shuffle of his footsteps, and nothing about the routine felt unusual until he reached the far end where the lights always seemed a little dimmer. He paused to adjust something when something caught his attention at the edge of the frame on the security feed he carried with him. A door beside him eased itself open with a slow, careful movement, stopping just wide enough to suggest someone might step out. Then after a moment it swung shut again without anyone touching it. The staff member stood frozen for a second, staring at the door that had settled back into place like nothing had happened, and the silence afterward felt heavier than before. There were no guests in that wing, no draft strong enough to move anything, and the door had always been known for sticking, not swaying. The moment left him with the uneasy sense that whatever had wandered through the front entrance earlier hadn't stayed in the lobby, but had drifted deeper into the hotel, watching from behind doors that shouldn't have been moving at all. In the following video, a man behind his camera in a school captures something incredibly strange while walking through what appears to be an old sports facility. He starts recording as a heavy door in front of him is slowly shutting on its own, creaking eerily as it moves. Take a look.
Esa puerta también. ¿Vieron? Dicen que mis videos son actuados, pero están viendo, no hay nada. ¿Vieron cómo se cerró la puerta? No soy el único que mira o escucha cosas. Pero bueno. Escucha. Eso fue acá. Uy, güey.
He carefully approaches the closing door, moving to an angle that allows him to start looking behind to see if maybe someone was there pulling it closed. But the space is completely empty. Nobody's around, no strings, no air vents strong enough to cause that movement. Curious, he decides to step through the door into the sports hall, beyond it. The moment he crosses the threshold, the door suddenly stops moving, freezing mid-shut, as if whatever was closing it just stopped. He pans the camera around the wide, empty hall, showing rows of benches and a faint echo from his own footsteps. But there's no sign of anyone else. The entire thing feels unsettlingly timed, almost like the door only moved until he entered the hall, then deliberately went still. A few days later, the same man decided to return to the school, determined to see if he could capture anything else unusual on camera. This time, he was crouched at the end of one of the long corridors, filming as he went to document the atmosphere of the place.
Uy, pues su puta madre. Y no hay nadie. Está cerrado. Vámonos de aquí.
Everything seems normal at first, as the lights hum faintly and the echo of his footsteps fill the hallway. But just as he starts to think nothing is going to happen this time, something strange happens at the far end. A large wheelie bin, which had been completely still, suddenly shifts a few inches on its own, rolling slightly across the floor before stopping again. There's no one near it, no airflow, and no reason for it to move at all. The man behind the camera is utterly shaken by what he just witnessed. The bin's subtle but deliberate movement adds another layer of mystery to the already unsettling activity he'd been documenting in this abandoned school, and who knows if he will ever return. In this next piece of footage, we're looking at security camera footage taken from inside a family home. The system detects movement in the dining room, and the homeowner's wife can be seen walking in before taking a seat at the table. What happens next is extremely hard to explain, so I'll let you watch it for yourself. The camera captures a series of loud bangs echoing throughout the room, though nothing seems to be falling or breaking. The noises suddenly stop, and the woman pulls out a chair, sitting down slowly at the table. What's unnerving is the way she sits. She sat with her arms laid flat across the surface, head bowed down, completely still. After a few seconds, the other chairs around her begin to shift on their own, sliding back as if invisible guests were taking their seats. Then one of the ornaments on the table slides across the surface, stopping right in front of her. A few moments later, a nearby door slams shut with a loud thud. The woman finally lifts her head slightly, breaking her stillness, and the clip cuts off abruptly, leaving viewers to wonder if she was ever really alone in that room. CCTV footage recorded at around 11 p.m. using a Wise camera set up in a living room captured something jaw-dropping. At first, nothing seems unusual as the footage is quiet, dimly lit, and the only movement comes from a few small orbs drifting near the camera lens. But 22 seconds in, things take a strange turn. On the left-hand side of the frame, just inside a doorway, something appears to peek out. It's quick but clear, the shape is small, almost childlike, and seems to lean forward before darting back out of sight. The house is supposed to be empty, yet there's definitely movement. A few seconds later, a lamp beside the door suddenly flickers to life on its own, illuminating the space where the figure appeared. The camera keeps rolling in silence after that, but nothing else moves. Many who've seen this footage believe it's some kind of spirit, especially considering no one else was home when it happened. Let me know what you think in the comment section though. The clip that I am going to expose you to shortly was recorded in pitch darkness with poor camera quality, relying entirely on night vision to capture what's happening. The footage begins with the man slowly walking toward a staircase, breathing heavily as he steadies the camera. What happens when he takes his first step up them is insane.
Okay, everybody, hold still for a second. Hello? Can you talk to us?
As soon as he steps onto the first stair, something faint but unmistakable moves in the background. A transparent figure gliding across behind a doorway at the top of the stairs. It's quick, almost ghost-like, fading out just as it comes into view. The man freezes and calls out hello into the silence, his voice echoing faintly through the hall. There's no response, no movement, nothing except for a few orbs drifting across the frame, floating gently past the camera lens before disappearing again. The eerie calm that follows makes the moment even more chilling, leaving it unclear whether he was truly alone in that house or not, disregarding his friend, of course. Val had been hearing strange noises coming from the basement for a few nights in a row and assumed it was just rats, wanting to show her husband, who was at work, what was going on. She decided to grab her phone and film as she went downstairs to investigate. Little did she know that it wasn't really rats at all. The footage shows her carefully walking down the creaky basement steps, trembling slightly as she reaches the bottom. Everything seems quiet at first, until she stops ahead of an old wooden door. Faint scratching sounds can be heard coming from behind it, rhythmic and persistent, as if something is trying to get out. Val stays exactly where she is, when suddenly the door handle lets out a little movement. She gasps and stumbles back, the scratching growing louder for just a few seconds before abruptly stopping. The clip ends with her breathing heavily, unsure whether she'd just encountered rodents or something far worse. This piece of CCTV footage was recorded inside an employee's office long after work hours, and what it captures has left everyone who's seen it completely unsettled. The office had recently been renovated after a fire 2 years prior that destroyed part of the building, but ever since reopening, workers kept reporting odd experiences, such as objects falling from desks, faint whispers when nobody else was around, and even computers turning on by themselves. This clip shows one of those incidents caught on camera. In this particular recording, the room is empty and silent when a faint, transparent white wisp begins to move across the floor. It glides effortlessly across the room, twisting slightly, before rising and fading away into thin air. There's no glare from lights, no insects, and no reflections from outside, just a clear, ghostly shape that shouldn't have been there. After the footage surfaced, the office manager checked the building's security system and confirmed that no one had entered or left the building that night. Strangely, the motion sensors had only been triggered in that one room. Since then, a few employees have refused to work there alone, and it's now referred to by staff as the haunted office, the place where something from before the fire still lingers. An Amazon delivery driver named Leah was recording something strange she experienced while collecting packages from a local storage facility. She'd been doing this route for months with nothing out of the ordinary ever happening, but on this particular day, something inside the building didn't feel right from the moment she walked in, and this intuition proved itself correct.
These people think I'm crazy. Y'all, look at this shit. Just look. You see that shit? Y'all seen that shit? Yo, watch this. Got it on camera. Thank God. What?
As she steps inside, the camera shows rows of storage lockers, most of them shut, except for some near the middle that are mysteriously hanging open. As she shouts to the camera, she closes them, along with a few others that had been left slightly ajar. Everything seems fine as she steps back, but then, as she films from a short distance away, one of the lockers she had just closed creaks and slowly opens itself again. The metal door drags open all the way before stopping on its own, as if something invisible had pushed it from the inside. She didn't stick around to find out what it was. Pete was inside getting ready for bed when he saw his wife standing out in the yard, staring up at the full moon. He grabbed his phone and went out to join her, the two of them taking a moment to appreciate how nice the sky looked that night. Everything was calm until a strange siren-like noise echoed from somewhere far out in the fields. They both stopped and listened, trying to figure out what could make a sound like that.
You getting some fresh air?
Yeah. Look at the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you kind of can come out.
It's gonna be like a full moon soon. What?
I sound pretty far off.
It's been a couple quiet nights though.
It comes again, long and warped, almost like an animal call, but stretched in a way that didn't sound natural at all. Some people online said it was probably just a fox, but Pete and his wife didn't look convinced. The tone, the pitch, the way it seemed to shift directions made it feel like something else was moving out there in the dark. They stayed outside for a minute longer, unsure whether to go back in or keep listening, and the whole thing left them wondering if they had just heard something they weren't supposed to. While they were still unsettled from the night before, Pete and his wife decided to clear their heads with a walk through the woods on a daytime date. The trail was quiet, just the sound of birds and wind moving through the trees, when suddenly, Pete froze mid-step. He held up a hand and whispered that he'd just heard something near him. His wife thought he was joking until the camera picked it up too.
This is our idea of a date night. I'm just walking through the woods.
You're very graceful.
I mean, I'm trying to record and walk at the same time. What?
You hear that?
No.
Those?
Is that footsteps? Do you see anything?
Soft, steady footsteps crunch through the leaves a few yards back, but when they turn around, there's nothing on the path. No hikers, no animals, no movement at all. The sound continues for a few seconds, clear as day, almost like someone invisible was pacing just out of sight. There's no logical cause anywhere in the frame, and the two of them stand there silently, realizing that whatever they heard last night might not have stayed in the fields. In the direct second part of that clip, the atmosphere shifts fast as Pete and his wife stand frozen on the trail, still trying to figure out who or what those unseen footsteps belong to. That same unsettling siren-like sound they heard the night before echoes through the woods.
It's gonna be harder to move through and keep quiet with all the leaves on the ground now.
When it snows, it might be easier to walk around out here.
Yeah.
Can we go home?
It starts faint, deep between the trees, almost like a distant wail, then rises just enough to prove it's not the wind and not any animal they recognize. The moment the sound stretches out again, both of them whip their heads toward the direction it came from, but there's nothing but dense forest. You can feel the panic building in Pete's voice as he tells his wife they need to leave. The clip cuts off right as they turn and start moving quickly back down the path. According to Pete, once the camera stopped rolling, they didn't risk staying any longer. They jogged the entire way home, convinced that whatever had followed them from the night before was still out there, watching. In the continuation, Pete explains that despite how terrified they were, curiosity got the better of them. About an hour later, they went back out with the camera, wanting to make sure the sound wasn't just an animal, and to see if anything had actually been out there.
What the fuck is this?
Ash, come here.
What? What is it? Pete, look at this.
Follow them? What does that mean?
I don't know, but we should really get out of here. You gotta go.
As they walk deeper into the trees, they come across something that makes both of them stop immediately. On the forest floor is a strange arrangement of branches, not random, but laid out deliberately to surround a holy cross. They look around, confused, until they notice another set of branches a few feet away. This one isn't a symbol at all, it's words. The branches are aligned to spell out all of them, each letter formed with unsettling precision, like someone, or something, had been waiting for them to find it, before they can even process what it means. That same eerie, siren-like sound echoes through the woods again, louder this time and closer. Pete mutters under his breath, the camera shaking as the woman spins around trying to locate the source, but the forest around them is completely still. Then the siren drags out once again, sharper this time, and that's all they need to hear. They take off running, sprinting straight back toward home as fast as they can. According to Pete, they didn't stop once until they were inside with the doors locked. The woman, Ashley, later admitted that the fear hadn't left her at all, but curiosity was eating at her even worse than it did Pete. So that same night, without telling him, she decided to sneak back into the woods on her own, with just her phone and a small flashlight. She said she wanted to know if the siren was real, or if they'd scared themselves into imagining it. The moment she stepped under the trees, the forest felt colder, heavier, almost like it was aware she was there alone. As she walks deeper into the dark, the siren-like noise begins again, drifting through the woods in those stretched, unnatural tones. Ashley keeps the flashlight pointed straight ahead, her breathing shaky as she slowly pans from tree to tree. Then, somewhere far ahead, something moves. It's quick, just a flicker between trunks, almost like a human silhouette gliding sideways before disappearing again. Ashley stops in her tracks, whispering Pete's name even though he isn't with her, and the siren drags out again, louder this time, as if responding to her voice. The second she sees another flash of movement, like an orange light closer now, clearly not an animal, she spins around and runs. She doesn't look back once, sprinting through the dark forest with only her flashlight beam bouncing wildly in front of her. According to Ashley, she didn't slow down until she could see the lights of her house, and after that night, she swore she would never go into those woods alone again. Monica was at work completely alone that night, the only person scheduled in the building, when she suddenly started hearing a strange chiming sound echoing from somewhere down the hallway. At first, it was faint, almost like a toy winding up, and she assumed it must have been something mechanical resetting itself. But when it kept stopping and starting, moving from one direction to another, she grabbed her phone and began walking toward it to figure out where exactly it was coming from.
I'm at work. I'm the only person here. And I here. Oh my god, I'm fucking. The scary movie says you don't go see what's going on. But what the I'm gonna lose my goddamn shit. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna die.
She moves through several empty offices, each one quiet and untouched, the chiming fading then picking up again, as if something was leading her from room to room. Eventually, she reaches a specific doorway where the sound had been the strongest just moments earlier. She steps inside, and everything is perfectly normal. The shelves are untouched, the chairs are still, and the toy that supposedly made the noise is sitting on the table exactly where it should be. She even picks it up to show there's nothing wrong with it. Monica walks around the room and then checks the adjacent one too, since part of her job is to make sure the area stays secure. But there's nothing and no one there. The clip ends with her confused and unsettled, realizing she never actually found the cause of the chiming. Later, security footage was reviewed to rule out intruders, and it confirmed that nobody entered the property at any point during her shift, making the whole incident even harder to explain. A few days later, Monica was back at work alone again, and things had only escalated since the chiming incident. She explained that the lights had been flickering non-stop all morning, turning on and off in random rooms, even when she wasn't anywhere near the switches. That's when she finally pulled out her phone to start filming, hoping to prove she wasn't exaggerating.
Here we go again. I don't know what the hell. The lights keep going on and off. What the f- Oh. Okay. I have to go upstairs. I don't know. That sound was at the same time as the light went on. Okay, it could be an electrical thing. Doesn't have to be scary. I don't know what's happening. I'm not scared, but Okay, so I'm at my desk now. The lights went out. They were going on and off when I was downstairs. I was able to capture it one time. I'm not scared. I'm over it, actually. I'm super irritated. I'm hearing shit. I hear whispering and humming. I'm about to go over there. Ugh. I'm not scared, but just super irritated. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm not scared. Okay. How do I turn the camera around? Okay. I fumbled on the phone. I'm not scared. I heard humming. I'm gonna open that closet again. I'm not afraid. Nothing can hurt me. There it is. I don't know what the heck. I had the security guard leave the light on for me in this room. And
As she's walking down the corridor, a sudden loud thud echoes through the building at the exact same moment another light snaps on by itself. She jumps, whispering to the camera that she's heading back to her desk for safety, and steps into the lift. The moment the doors close, she looks shaken, constantly glancing around like she's expecting something to follow her. When she reaches her desk, she sits down and talks straight into the camera, clearly agitated as she describes what's been happening, whispering, humming, little noises coming from corners of the office where nobody should be. And the unsettling part is that throughout the video, you can hear it too. A whisper around 1 minute 41 seconds, another faint one at 2 minutes 40, soft enough to question, but clear enough to be intentional. She later says that her boss already knows what's happening, but claims there's nothing he can do. No intruders, no faulty wiring, just Monica and something in that building that keeps making its presence known whenever she's stuck there alone. In the following video, a kid is spending time with his father in the kitchen, happily putting pieces of fruit into a small plastic cup, while his dad films the moment. It's quiet and normal at first, just a wholesome little clip. Then the atmosphere shifts.
Ahora nos abrió la puerta y se presentó.
Mano con el limón. A ver, dile a la abuela. Limón. Dile, mandarina. Mandarina. Se cayó. ¿Sí? No. Hola. Dile, espera, Marcos. Otra vez, no, por favor. Rolo. No mames, mierda. No mames. No, espera. Alguien se metió. Quédate ahí, Daniel. Alguien se metió. No mames. ¿Rolo?
¿Será el perro?
Tu casa, güey, no mames. No, esto no puede ser. No. Métete, papi, métete.
Brightening and dimming, the overhead lighting is suddenly flickering a few times. Before either of them can react, the door beside them slowly opens by itself, creaking as it swings inward. The dad steps toward it, confused, but the moment he reaches the doorway, a dark figure can be seen standing upright through the window behind the door. It's just a split second, but its shape is unmistakable. He panics, backs up quickly, and shuts the door immediately, trying not to scare his son. They wait in total silence for a few long seconds before he finally gathers the courage to open the door again. This time he steps outside, filming the empty yard, showing that absolutely nothing is there. No person, no shadow, no movement anywhere. The dad then hurriedly ushers his kid back inside and ends the video. He said afterward that he locked the door the second the recording stopped, completely shaken by the idea that something had been standing that close to them. A woman had been exploring an ancient chateau for a research project, and one night she decided to leave a camera running in the boot room to see if the strange things she'd been sensing were real. The next day, she brought the footage to her friend and colleague, Ted, to show him what she'd captured, walking him through every moment as the clip played. She explains on camera what she's doing, steps out of the room, and closes the heavy wooden door with the latch set firmly in place before the automatic sensor light clicks off behind her. What happens next is truly mental.
All of the footage that I have, that I left the camera overnight in the boot room to try and catch the mouse. We didn't catch the mouse. There was no mouse last night. I'm going to leave the camera out there over the next week and see if I can catch this blooming mouse. I'm just so that I can prove I'm not going mad. However, there is something else we did catch. And yeah, I'm going to go and get Ted to come and watch the footage and see what he thinks. And I'm not going to say anything to him, and you can watch at the same time. Yeah. Let's just watch the footage, and then we'll see what you think, and see if you think the same as what I think. Come and sit here, baby.
Okay. What are we looking at?
Right, so let me start playing. So this is from last night. This is me setting the camera up. So I'll set the camera up so you can see the hole in the corner. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. Anyway, I'm off to bed. It's very late. So we'll see whether we catch this mouse out in the morning, and then Ted will have to believe me that there is something running above our bedroom. I'll see you all in the morning. Good night. Now, you heard me put the latch on the door there.
Yeah, it sounded like it, yeah.
Okay, so the sensor light's gone out.
Right.
So I'm going to forward this bit because it's about 2 hours, well, it is 2 hours, 27 minutes into filming last night. Now, we went to bed about midnight.
Yeah.
So this would be about 2:30. This happens. Now, you heard the latch go off the door.
Yeah.
And that's the light coming on.
The motion sensor light.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, what? There's shadow there?
Yeah.
Yes, I can see a shadow moving across it.
Yeah. Keep watching.
Oh my God. What? That's got to be an animal or something, isn't it?
That was a big shadow for an animal.
How? You can't.
How can an animal get up
You
so...
You can't have put the latch on properly.
I put the latch on because you heard the latch go on.
Yeah.
And you heard the latch come off.
I didn't actually hear the latch come off, but, you know...
Right, let me play that again. You hear the latch?
Right, yeah.
The door open. Now, to push that door open, that's the heavy door, you've got to push it inward. So somebody's got to be standing there to be able to open that door.
Yeah.
And there's nobody standing there.
And I've never known that door swing open on its own.
No. And the other thing is, the camera is up on a tripod. So to move it in a tilt, like it's tilted
moved,
up,
something
has moved. It hasn't moved the tripod because the tripod would fall over. It's had to move the camera.
Oh, that's... I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's the shadow that got me than anything. The shadow walk... I don't get it.
That's weird, isn't it?
I don't
That
get
is
it.
just
I don't
bonkers.
get it.
Now, we get asked all the time, over the years we've been here, every single person I think that has come in here has always asked, do you have ghosts in the chateau?
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
After fast-forwarding through a long, quiet stretch, the boot room door suddenly opens itself even though nobody is anywhere near it. A moment later, the sensor light snaps back on, which only happens when something moves inside that space. As they watch closely, a shadow glides across the floor, faint but undeniably there, like a figure passing in front of the light. Then, without anything touching it, the camera tilts upward on its own, angling toward the ceiling as if something invisible had grabbed it. Ted sits there in complete disbelief as she replays the moment, but there's no denying what happened. Something was inside that room with her equipment that night, something that wasn't supposed to be there, and the evidence couldn't be explained away. In the following video, a CCTV camera overlooking a quiet backyard captures something incredibly strange late at night, right around 9:45. The footage begins with the family dog standing near the edge of the lawn, barking non-stop at what seems to be absolutely nothing. There's no movement, no animals, nothing in the yard that should be getting its attention, yet the dog won't stop growling in one direction like it's seeing something no one else can. Out of nowhere, a shadowy shape suddenly darts across the yard. It moves fast, low to the ground, and completely silent, almost like a dark outline running on all fours, before disappearing behind the fence and out of sight. What makes it even stranger is the dog's reaction. Its head follows the figure perfectly, barking and tracking it the entire time as if it was completely real and right there. Nothing else shows up on camera, and there's no explanation for a solid shadow moving like that. Some people think it might have been a stray animal, but the shape doesn't match anything normal. Others believe it was a ghost dog or some kind of spirit animal crossing the yard. Whatever it was, it clearly wasn't something the camera should have been able to pick up, yet it did. A pair of girls exploring their parents' bedroom decided to film a video because the house is up for sale, and they're convinced something inside it is still very paranormally active. They both turn on their flashlights and night vision, slowly scanning around the room while telling stories about past things that had happened in there, the kind of stories that made them uneasy even now. The bedroom is quiet at first, too quiet, until a sudden knock echoes from the far side of the room, making them immediately press their backs against the wall. They both quietly ask if it can knock again, clearly hoping nothing happens. Eventually, though, it listens.
Okay, hey guys. I know it's not a comedy video, but this is one of our more serious videos. Well, we're in Caroline's house right now, and we're in her parents' bedroom. This house has been up for quite a while.
Time,
yeah. It's very old, and her parents and her and think there's some paranormal activity going on in here.
Hold on, I'm trying to...
And so, we want to kind of see if we can get stuff and try to talk to the thing. I don't know what it is. So
we're guessing it's like a ghost.
We're gonna record it, and we're gonna. I'm kind of scared in it. Yeah. And
but yeah, for one or a few hours, we're actually gonna be ghost hunters. So
yeah, we're gonna be ghost hunters. I'm scared.
I know.
Okay.
Gonna be quite an adventure.
Okay, so here we go. Let's go.
Okay, let's try this stuff.
Oh my god, I'm scared. Okay,
I'm following you. Okay.
Going first. No, going first. Just film in here.
Like one time.
What's that?
I don't know.
Never mind. I guess I'm.
Okay, so like one time, right over there, the bookshelf. Like my parents were sleeping and something fell, and they don't know what it was and everything, and so we were like trying to explain it for like quite some time, but we couldn't, and it's like really scary. So let's try to like do something with the bookshelf. I don't know what to do exactly, but we can maybe like call the spirit and kind of like tease it. Like
oh my god! Oh my god, Caroline.
Did you hear
Should
that?
we not do this right now?
No, let's do it. Okay.
Oh my god.
Did you hear that?
Oh no.
It was like knocking.
I don't know. I'm scared. Okay, I'm gonna put my back against the wall because. Okay.
No, I heard knocking though.
Okay, you see this. Put your hands up. Okay.
Okay, ready?
We're holding the camera with our arm, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm holding the camera with this arm. Okay, so if there's a ghost in here, knock. Oh my god. Oh my god. Maybe that could have been your brother or sister. I'm crying. Okay, that could have been your brother or sister. But, I'm like
okay. Ready?
So let's try that again. Maybe it just happened to be a coincidence. Okay. If there's a ghost in here,
knock twice.
Knock. Yeah, knock twice. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna leave. Finish. No, wait. One more thing. Okay, one thing.
No. Okay,
if there's a ghost in here, and I'm pretty sure there is, then, oh my god, knock as close as you can to us. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, shh. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, no.
I think I'm done.
No. We have to do this.
Okay.
We have to do this.
Oh my god.
So
let's listen for
some sounds like footsteps or just regular sounds. We'll just listen.
And we have our hands up. Put your hands up.
Oh.
And she's holding the camera.
Yeah, I'm holding the camera. Look at my arm. See that?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Is that a book? Oh my god!
Oh my god! That was a book.
The book just fell off the shelf.
That book just fell off the shelf. I swear to God.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What's the noise?
Okay, so we're gonna listen for more
book
noises.
was really scary.
Yeah, that book was.
That was really scary.
I had never really witnessed.
You hear that?
Before.
Film over there.
Where? Wait, hold on.
I don't know.
Shh. Let me hear.
Oh my god! What is that?
Oh my god! It sounds like there's something moving on the carpet.
What is it? I can't see. It's black.
Wait, look. Oh my god, the book's moving. Brianna, the book's moving.
Whoa. Oh my god. Should we leave?
Brianna, oh my god. It's coming closer to us, Brianna.
Shh. It stopped.
Should I grab it?
No.
Should we grab it?
Do you think that it has to do with it? What's the title? What book?
Title of the book?
I'm scared.
I'm scared. I know. Wait, where is it?
It's right there.
Wait, let me zoom.
Just, yeah. Can you guys read that?
What does that say?
I don't know. What's on it?
I don't know, but it's scary looking. There's something in the closet. Oh my god.
The knock happens again, louder this time. Nervous but desperate to know if it's real, they ask for 2 knocks instead, and sure enough, 2 sharp taps hit the wall like something was responding directly to them. The final test is what pushes them into full panic. They ask it to knock as close to them as it can, barely finishing the sentence before a loud knock hits right beside them, so close it almost sounds like it came from the wall they were leaning on. They get visibly frightened and start backing away, and as they do, a book suddenly falls from the bookshelf with no one near it. Whatever is in that house didn't just hear them. It listened and answered exactly as asked, pretty much confirming for them that the place really is haunted. Two men were hanging out inside a house late at night when they both heard something moving in the hallway, so one of them pulled out his phone and started recording to prove they weren't imagining things. At first, the footage is quiet, just the two of them whispering and trying to figure out where the noise came from, until they spot a door at the end of the hall, slowly shutting on its own, like someone was gently pushing it closed from the other side.
Hola.
No mames, güey, hasta huele raro, güey. ¡Ay, mami, la puerta! No seas mamón, Chris. A ver.
No, ábrela tú, güey.
A ver, güey. Ay, güey, chistaron, güey. No mames. A ver, explícame esto.
They both inch toward it, the guy with the camera staying behind his friend as the door creeps almost fully shut before they finally reach it. The first man hesitates, waiting to see if it'll stop or open again, but nothing happens, so he places his hand on it and pushes it open in one slow motion. The room behind it is empty. There's no one inside, no draft, no windows open, nothing that could have caused it to move at all. The two of them stand there in silence, staring into the empty doorway while the house stays completely still, almost like whatever closed that door didn't want to be seen. They're back filming again, this time in the kitchen, because after the door incident they both agreed they weren't done documenting whatever was happening in that house. They try to act normal, talking quietly and checking corners, when something at the far end of the room catches their attention.
Mucha atención a lo que está a punto de suceder con el adorno en esta casa del poltergeist.
De las niñas, vengas por acá, güey.
Vente, Miles.
Pues así sí está perro, güey. La neta aquí estar en este rollo, güey. Y sí se siente pesadísimo, güey. Muy pesadísimo. ¡Ay,
¡No
cabrón!
mames!
¿Sí viste, güey?
No te pases de lanza, güey.
¿Sí vieron, güey? ¿Qué se cayó?
No mames.
Güey? ¿Qué se cayó, güey? ¿Qué se cayó, güey? No mames. Ah, la madre. Yo, ¿sabes que me asusté, güey? Pensé que era una...
Through an empty interior window that looks into the next room, a dark face suddenly rises into view for a split second, like someone slowly peeked up from below the frame before dropping out of sight again. The two men freeze instantly, whispering to each other in disbelief as they walk closer to check behind it. But when they lean over the counter and look into the next room, there's nothing. No furniture someone could hide behind, no shadows lining up with anything. No way someone could have ducked out of sight that quickly. The window frame is completely open, empty on both sides. The way that face appeared then vanished gives the same feeling as the door shutting earlier, like something in that house is watching them back and only showing itself when it wants to. Eugene was home alone at around 2 in the morning, his girlfriend staying over at her parents' place, leaving him as the only person in the apartment. He walks into the corridor with his camera, already anxious because he swears he's been hearing someone calling him by his nickname from somewhere in the dark. Take a look.
Eu achei que tinha parado, mas eu acabei de voltar de viagem. O negócio ainda tá acontecendo, mano. Velho, por que é sempre desse quarto? Caralho.
Aqui?
Não dá, velho, não dá. Toda vez. Cara. Não é possível, velho. Velho, não, mano. Não faz sentido, mano. Caralho. Mano, não tem como não, cara. Toda vez é tudo isso, parça. Puta que pariu, meu irmão.
As he films, the voice becomes clearer, almost as if it's getting closer to him with every passing second. Suddenly, he hears movement coming from one of the rooms off the corridor, followed by the door slowly opening on its own. Eugene hesitates, but eventually forces himself to step inside, sweeping the camera across the empty room. There's nothing, no one hiding, no windows open, no sign that anyone had been in there. But the second he walks deeper inside, the door swings shut behind him, trapping him in there for a moment. He panics and sprints out of the room, breathing hard as he makes it back into the hallway. The clip ends shortly after, but Eugene later stated that he didn't stop running until he was fully out of the apartment. Whatever was calling his name that night wasn't human, and it definitely didn't want him there. Still shaken from the first encounter, Eugene starts filming again in the same dim corridor, breathing heavily as he tries to steady himself. He explains that things haven't calmed down at all, and he's now hearing a different voice, one that clearly sounds female. At first, it's faint, almost like it's coming from far down the hall, so Eugene slowly takes a few steps toward the sound, keeping the camera aimed straight ahead in case anything moves. As he gets closer, the voice suddenly echoes again, this time much louder and unmistakably right behind him, almost as if someone whispered directly into his ear. Eugene spins around instantly, shaking, but the corridor is completely empty. Before he can process what just happened, the sound of footsteps erupts from behind him, fast and heavy, sprinting toward him even though nobody is there. Eugene gasps and darts into the nearest doorway, hiding inside the small room with the camera trembling in his hands. The footage stops right as he enters. He later explained that he stayed there frozen, not daring to breathe too loudly, realizing whatever he heard wasn't trying to scare him by accident. It knew exactly where he was. Ian the ghost hunter is back again, and if you remember his previous encounter inside that old factory, this new footage is a direct continuation of that same investigation. Earlier that night, he claimed the activity deeper in the building felt heavier than usual, so he decided to explore one of the rooms he hadn't checked before. He walks into a large storage space completely filled with mannequins, all standing in random poses with their faces warped and distorted from age and heat damage. Ian mentions on camera that he's never liked rooms like this, and you can tell he's nervous but forces himself to speak out.
Did you just move one of these mannequins? Could you move one right now? Any one of these. No. Oh. Dude. That thing just freaking started rocking. Oh, no. Are you freaking serious? It had to be like one of the freakiest looking ones, too. It looks freaking demented. Oh, God. One of the ones back there moved. I freaking just heard that. Are these mannequins possessed? She just moved. She more than moved. She slid forward.
Suddenly, one of the mannequins begins rocking back and forth on its own. This is easily one of the freakiest things I've ever witnessed.
He raises his voice slightly and asks if whatever spirit is in the building can move one of the mannequins just to prove it's listening. For a moment, nothing happens, and then one of them slowly shifts to the side. Ian almost drops his flashlight. Suddenly, that same mannequin starts rocking back and forth, as if someone was pushing it from behind. Before he can even process it, another mannequin across the room jerks slightly. Ian's breathing gets shaky, but he continues speaking, asking if the mannequins are possessed. As soon as the words leave his mouth, yet another mannequin moves, barely but undeniably. All of them stay completely still afterward, their distorted faces visible at him in the dim light, making the entire room feel alive in the worst possible way. Ian eventually steps back into the hallway, saying this might be the most unsettling room he has ever investigated. A guy is lying on his bed in the next clip, breathing heavily as he films himself, and explains he's been hearing knocking sounds coming from his closet for the past few minutes. He's clearly scared, but trying to stay calm, talking quietly while keeping the camera pointed toward the closet door.
I just heard knocking from the closet.
The moment he mentions the knocking, a loud, sharp knock echoes from inside the closet, so loud that he jumps and freezes in place. He slowly gets out of bed and walks toward it, breathing deeply as he inches closer. Just before his hand reaches the handle, another knock hits the door, this one quicker and just as forceful, almost like whatever's inside is responding directly to him. He swings the door open and films every corner of the closet, but it's completely empty. No movement, no shadows, nothing out of place. He steps back into the hallway, trying to process what just happened, when suddenly the door across from the closet slams shut on its own. He spins around in panic, but the room is empty. no one there. This entire sequence makes it seem like whatever was knocking wasn't confined to the closet at all, and it wasn't done trying to get his attention. Celsa set up a CCTV camera in her daughter's room because something had been keeping the little girl awake night after night, and they wanted to finally see what was going on. The footage she shared was recorded just before 6 in the evening, long before bedtime, which made what happened even stranger. The room looks completely normal at first, sunlight still coming through the curtains, but every few seconds, small orbs drift across the frame, floating in different directions, as if they have their own movement. Her daughter is lying on the bed fast asleep, totally unaware of what the camera is picking up. Then, right at the end of the clip, the duvet at the foot of the bed pulls downward in a single, smooth tug. The girl doesn't move, and nothing is visible touching it. The blanket shifts a few inches, as if someone grabbed it from below, then it settles back into place. There's no one in the room with her, and the orbs from earlier make the moment feel even more unsettling. For Celsa, this confirmed that her daughter wasn't imagining things, and something in that room might actually be interacting with her when no one else is around. Here's where things get even stranger. A second CCTV camera in the living room was recording close to 9 at night, and this time the entire house was empty. There's no movement on the furniture, no shadows passing by, nothing that should be causing any disturbances. But in the hallway beyond the living room, something small keeps peeking out every so often. It leans into view for a split second, almost like a head or a tiny figure, then pulls back into the darkness. It happens repeatedly throughout the footage, always quick enough that you'd miss it if you weren't watching closely. With nobody home and nothing in the house that could explain it, the hallway sightings left Celsa even more convinced that whatever tugged the duvet upstairs might be moving freely through other parts of the home too. In the final clip of the saga, Celsa's daughter is asleep again, this time in the middle of the day. It's just after 1 in the afternoon, bright outside. Nothing that should make the room feel unsettling at all. But then something strange happens, so take a look. The camera is pointed at the bed the same way as before. Everything is calm at first. Then something beside her shifts in a way that's different from the earlier tug caught on camera. Something small seems to move across the fabric, almost like a tiny eye twitching for a moment before disappearing. It's impossible to tell exactly what it is, but the motion is clear, and it isn't the girl, who stays completely still the whole time. The movement is subtle but unmistakable, the kind that makes your stomach drop, because it shouldn't be happening at all. After everything else caught in this house, this final clip feels like the most direct sign yet that something is actually on the bed with her, even in broad daylight, and whatever has been disturbing her hasn't gone anywhere. A man was out in his backyard when he noticed something moving deep in the woodlands behind his house. Something subtle enough that at first he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him, but when it happened again, he pulled out his phone and started filming just in case.
Hi, it's me again. I'm just calling just to let you know. I've seen that thing again in the backyard. I've got the camera on. I'm trying to capture it. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to see if I can get it. Anyway, give me a call when you get this message. Bye. No! What is that? No way. No. What is that? No way. Yeah, it's me. I've just seen that thing. I've actually got it on camera. I'll show you when you get home. Give me a call as soon as you get this message.
After a few seconds of watching from the yard, he decides to rush back inside and run upstairs for a better angle from the window. When he zooms in from the second floor, that's when he finally catches it clearly enough to make his voice go shaky. Something strange glides across the tree line. Not solid, not fully visible, but not invisible either. It looks like a distortion in the air, the way heat waves ripple, except this moves with purpose, almost shaped like someone walking, but completely transparent. You can see the trees through it, yet the outline is unmistakable as it drifts between them. It doesn't behave like an animal or a shadow, and it's too defined to be a camera glitch. The man stays silent for a few seconds, before calling someone and letting them know, but whatever it is just keeps moving until it fades behind the thicker trees. Whatever was in those woods wasn't trying to hide, but it definitely wasn't something he could understand. A group of friends were hanging out home alone for the night, just talking and messing around, when they suddenly heard something fall in one of the rooms down the hall. At first they laughed it off, but when it happened again they all went quiet and called out hello, asking if someone was there, even though they knew nobody else was in the house. The noises kept coming in short bursts, like objects shifting around on their own, so they finally grabbed a phone and decided to check it out together.
¿Están escuchando? Soy yo. Se están escuchando mazo de ruidos, tú. Yo vine del baño.
No vayas, no vayas. Estás loco,
Hermano.
¿Qué es lo que quiere que vayas? Vale, venga, poco a poco. Una polla.
Una polla.
No.
Ocho, para.
Pon la linterna, hermano, ¿qué haces? ¿Estás loco?
Se está escuchando desde el baño.
Escúchame, pon la linterna ahí, hermano.
¿Hola?
Una polla. Hermano, esto da mucho mal rollo,
¿Hay alguien ahí?
No.
Hermano.
Tira, vamos a ver lo que es.
Hermano, no.
Acércate, ¿cómo? Tira. Asoma la cámara. Acércate lo que hay, acércate. Vale, ahí no hay nada. No hay nada ahí.
¡Hostia puta! ¡Corre, hermano! ¡Corre! ¡What the fuck!
They peek round the bathroom door slowly, joking nervously as they film, but the second the camera tilts toward the bath, their voices drop instantly. Reflected in the glass is an uncanny face staring back at them, not shaped like any of theirs, not human in a way that makes your stomach twist. The eyes look too wide, the smile too sharp, and it's in a place where nobody in the group was physically standing. One of them runs away in pure panic before they all sprint back down the hallway. Whatever they caught in that room wasn't a prank, and it wasn't any of them. It was something else watching them from the darkness of the bathroom. Jason was trying to grab a late bite at the subway inside Memorial Hospital, a place that already had a reputation for ghost sightings over the years. Nurses had talked about strange footsteps, flickering lights, and even a little girl seen wandering the halls long after visiting hours. Jason didn't really believe any of it, but while waiting for a member of staff to show up, he decided to film the empty place just to show how eerie the place was.
Alright, we're at Subway at Memorial Hospital, and there's been reports of ghost activity. Maybe we'll get lucky and capture a ghost. It's the ghost of a little girl. Oh my god, there she was!
For the first few seconds, nothing happens, just the hum of the machines and the glow of the fluorescent lights. Then out of nowhere a blur sprints across the frame, low to the ground, and fast enough that you only catch the shape for a moment before it disappears behind a counter. Jason jumps, but there's nobody there at all. No footsteps, no signs of movement, no child in sight. The blur almost resembles a small figure, and with the hospital's old stories about a little girl spirit roaming the cafeteria after dark, people started calling this clip the clearest proof yet. Whatever rushed past Jason wasn't a customer, wasn't a worker, and definitely wasn't human. A man was home alone while his daughter slept in the next room, editing something on his phone, when he suddenly heard a single piano key echo from his daughter's playroom. He grabbed his camera and walked quietly toward his daughter's room first, making sure she hadn't gotten up, but she was still fast asleep, and nothing seemed out of place. He waited in the doorway, listening, trying to convince himself it was just settling wood or a toy shifting.
It always gets crazy when I'm here by myself. Or when my daughter's sleeping. What? See? I told you. I want her piano again. Hello? See, there's her piano. Don't mind her room. She has so many damn toys. We gotta clean up like every day in here. Hello? But at least y'all caught that part. Yo. Nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm good. Shut that. I'm telling you, every time I'm here by myself, man. See, look, her piano's still going off in there, man.
Then the piano plays itself again, a different note this time, loud enough to make him flinch. Before he can even react, a toy robot sitting on the trampoline beside the piano suddenly activates on its own, even though nobody touched it. The man doesn't wait to see what happens next. He turns around instantly and walks straight out of the room, clearly done with whatever had just decided to wake up in the middle of the night. In the following video, a duo of friends armed with flashlights were exploring an abandoned building late at night, hoping to capture whatever had been making the strange noises they kept hearing on earlier visits. It was only supposed to be a quick sweep through the corridors, but things escalated fast when they turned a corner. As they walk down a narrow hallway, their flashlights sweeping across peeling walls and scattered debris, they turn a corner and immediately freeze. Just ahead of them, a ghost-like figure floats upward, rising silently until it disappears completely out of sight above the doorway. The light catches just enough of it to show its shape before it vanishes, leaving the two friends completely stunned. They stand in that corner for a long moment, clearly unsettled, trying to figure out if they really saw what they think they saw. Eventually, they gather the courage to move forward and check the spot where the figure disappeared. But when they round the corner, the space is completely empty, no stairs, no ledges, nothing that something could have climbed or stood on. Whatever floated upward was gone, leaving them with no explanation at all. The next piece of footage was taken on the 17th of October 2012, right in the middle of the day, and it comes from a man named Michael, who insists he was completely alone in the house at the time. For about 10 minutes straight, he kept hearing footsteps going up and down his staircase, the kind of loud, clear steps you'd expect from a full-grown adult. Eventually, he grabbed his camera and started recording, because the sounds simply wouldn't stop, and he hoped to catch them as proof.
Okay, it's like the middle of the day. I'm the only person in the house, and just heard some footsteps going up and down the stairs. I've checked all the rooms. There is nobody in. It's been doing it for about 10 minutes. There it is again. Okay. Let's see if I can get the camera this time. Nothing there though. Holy shit. I'm gonna go have a look. Hello? Mike? Charlie?
As soon as he starts filming, you can hear it on camera too, that repetitive thudding of someone pacing the stairs. Michael walks out of his room and points the camera directly at the staircase, but there's nothing there. No movement, no shadows, nothing that explains the noise. Still, the footsteps continue, even while he's staring straight at the stairs. Suddenly, the sound changes. Whatever's on those stairs runs all the way up at full speed, but nothing ever appears in frame. Then, right at the top, the door slams shut, hard enough to shake Michael, stands frozen for a few seconds before finally building up the courage to go inside the room. It turns out to be nothing more than the bathroom, completely empty, no windows open, no one inside, no reason for anything he heard. After this incident, Michael admitted he's now looking to sell the home altogether. A man is standing just outside his bedroom, filming because he claims something in the house has been responding to him whenever he speaks in his native language. He's clearly unsettled, but he keeps the camera rolling as he talks quietly toward the dark hallway, almost as if he's addressing someone he can't see. Little do we know at this point that there is definitely someone there.
Voy a tratar de comunicarme con este ente como me dijeron. Se sienten pasos. Si estás acá, prende la luz. ¿Qué? Si estás aquí en el baño, enciende de nuevo el agua. ¿Hay alguien más que tú aquí en esta casa? Mi vida corre peligro. Está de huella. Aquí no hay... No, yo me voy.
As he's speaking, the shower in the bathroom beside him suddenly turns itself on, spraying water for a second, before shutting off again. He stops mid-sentence, confused, and walks toward the door. The moment he steps inside, it happens a second time, the shower turning on and off, as if something is reacting to his presence. He stays there, wondering if it would happen again, and as expected, the shower triggers a third time, then a fourth, each burst short and deliberate like someone unseen is flicking the tap. Finally, he pulls the shower curtain aside to check for anything that could have caused it, but there's nothing. No loose pipe, no faulty handle, nothing in the tub. Whatever was answering him wasn't something he could see, but it was definitely listening. In the follow-up clip, Franco is still in the same house, this time sitting in his own bedroom with the camera pointed upward as he tries to calm himself after the shower incident. He earlier explained that things haven't stopped since that night, and the second he begins to film, the reasons become obvious. Above him, the ceiling light begins to sway back and forth, slowly at first, like something barely nudged it. Franco keeps filming, well aware that there's no draft, no windows open, nothing that could make it move. But then it starts swinging faster, almost violently, like someone was pushing it from side to side. He tried to stay steady, breathing hard, when something else happened out of nowhere. His bedroom door begins to close on its own, not slamming, but gently, almost politely, until it clicks shut. Franco freezes for a moment before finally mustering up the courage to stand and open it. The second he does, he jumps back in fear as his cat is suddenly sitting right at the threshold, staring up at him. The timing couldn't have been worse, and it terrified him even more. The activity hasn't stopped at all, and Franco is running out of explanations. In the third and most unsettling clip, Franco is back in the same bedroom again, determined to catch whatever has been lurking in his house. He points the camera toward the same doorway where the earlier activity happened. explaining that he keeps hearing movement outside his room late at night. Things escalate quickly.
Hay ruido en el primer piso. Está...
As he films the doorway, something faint moves at the very top of the staircase that leads downstairs. A dark, odd shadow briefly peeks around the corner, just enough to be seen before sliding out of sight again. Franco is very frightened and clearly shaken, but before he even has time to react properly, his bedroom door begins to shut once more. This time it doesn't slam or jolt. It closes normally, smoothly, almost deliberately, like someone was standing behind it and pushing it shut with care. Franco panics and immediately runs to pull the door back open, swinging the camera around the hallway. But just like every other moment in this house, there's nothing. No footsteps, no movement, no one who could have been responsible other than his white cat, who wouldn't have appeared so dark. Whatever is haunting Franco's home isn't done with him yet, and this clip only made things even more disturbing. Luke had been hearing strange voices around his house for a few nights in a row, and this time he finally worked up the nerve to start filming to prove he wasn't imagining it. He sets his camera on the doorway in front of him, trying to capture any sound or movement that might happen. Take a look.
I'm still hearing voices. Listen. Jesus Christ.
For a few seconds, everything is still. The room quiet, except for Luke's uneasy explanation. Then, from somewhere, just out of frame, another door in his room suddenly shuts on its own. It's loud enough that the camera picks it up clearly, even though it's completely off-screen. Luke jumps back with a genuinely shocked reaction, his words showing fear, but there's nothing. No wind, no movement, no shadows, just a door that somehow shut itself while he was lying right there. His reaction alone makes it clear he wasn't expecting it, and whatever voice he'd been hearing before clearly wasn't finished, making itself known. In the follow-up clip, Luke is on edge again because he starts hearing whispering near his room and decides to record once more, convinced that whatever had closed the door before is still around. As he films the room, a strange scattering sound begins coming from inside the walls, quick and uneven, like something crawling behind the plaster. At first, he tries to convince himself it might be a rodent, something normal, something that would at least make sense. But the longer he films, the more wrong it feels, because the scattering stops suddenly and is replaced by a clear whisper that comes from the far side of the room, nowhere near Luke, and definitely not from the walls. It's unmistakably human, low and intentional, and Luke's breathing picks up as he looks around at the empty room. Whatever is in that house with him is not an animal, and it's definitely not his imagination. Luke is still recording when he suddenly goes quiet, because 3 slow knocks hit his bedroom door, spaced out like someone is deliberately trying to get his attention. He stares at the door without moving, waiting to see if it was just the house settling, but then it happens again, the exact same pattern, a little louder this time. Luke takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself, whispering that he doesn't want to open it. Before he can even finish speaking, another round of knocks hits the door, faster now, almost impatient, followed by a final series that's even more aggressive, as if Whatever is outside is getting bolder. He stays frozen, the camera shaking slightly in his hand, because the worst part is that he knows for a fact no one else is home. A man was at home one night, casually watching TV, when he decided to start filming because something strange had started happening. The overhead light in his living room began flashing on and off at slow, rhythmic intervals, almost like a signal.
Vean cómo empezó a ser el foco de mi cámara. Prende y se apaga. No sé qué pasó. Estoy viendo la tele y de repente no sé qué pasó, se apagó la luz. Otra vez apagó la luz. Voy a buscar la linterna. Ah, se apagó la tele. Aquí está la linterna. ¿Qué está pasando? No, 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 no mames, no mames. ¿Qué es eso? Por Dios, ¿qué es eso? Se apagó. Mi celular, mi celular, mi celular. Traigo mi celular. Está prendido allá abajo. Está prendido allá abajo. ¿Qué pasó? Vamos. ¿Qué pasó? Se prendió la luz. Se está apagando la luz. Se está prendiendo la luz.
He pointed his camera toward the TV, narrating nervously as both the television and the light suddenly turned off at the exact same moment, plunging the room into silence. Grabbing a flashlight, he asked out loud what was going on, his voice shaky. Just then, the door across from him creaked open by itself, revealing the dark outline of a womanly figure standing beyond it. The figure didn't move, but its presence was enough to send a jolt of fear through him. After gathering himself, he slowly backed away, turned, and made his way downstairs with the flashlight in hand. His breathing grew louder as he picked up the pace, eventually sprinting out the door and into his car. He explained at the end that he wouldn't be going back into that house for at least a week. Footage captured a routine call that turned into something far stranger. Questioning a woman outside her 3-room home after she reported what she believed to be a burglary. She explained her reasons for suspicion, and they sounded very believable, so the officers requested permission to search the property. She agreed, staying outside while they went in.
How's it going? What seems to be the problem?
I left for a while to go shopping, and when I came home, the door is open. I think somebody broke in.
Does anyone live in the house?
Yes, my husband, myself, and our 2 kids, but they're out of town right now. They're with his parents.
And how many rooms do you have?
2 upstairs and 1 downstairs.
All right, we're gonna have to go and search the house. Is it okay if we go in?
Yeah, of course.
You don't have any like pets or dogs or anything?
No.
Right.
Just stay here, man.
Police, if anyone's here, make yourself known.
Police. Anyone inside?
downstairs, you get upstairs.
Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known.
Downstairs clear. Upstairs clear?
Yeah, we're good.
Flashlights swept across the darkened rooms as they knocked on doors and announced their presence, receiving no reply. One officer entered a bedroom and inspected a cabinet, only to catch one of its doors slam shut on its own a few seconds later. He checked the adjoining bathroom and found it empty. The officers split up to cover more ground. The body cam shows the POV officer heading upstairs, where the door at the top slowly pushed itself wider, as if someone invisible was waiting for him. He cautiously entered, scanned the room, and found nobody. As he stepped back into the hallway, the door opposite creaked open even further, repeating the unsettling pattern. Once again, the room was empty. After thoroughly checking every space and finding no signs of forced entry, the officers returned outside to inform the woman. She was left shaken but relieved no intruder was found, though the officers admitted what they witnessed inside was deeply unsettling. She decided to stay with family for the night and planned to have someone bless the house in the coming days. Noah had always joked about the piano ghost living in his house, ever since the old upright piano had arrived as a family heirloom, and it would frequently play by user, with the seat even moving. But one afternoon, he found something even more abnormal. Sitting on the piano's music stand was a handwritten note addressed to him. It claimed to be from the piano ghost itself, saying it had been practicing a special song and left clear instructions on how to let it play without interference. Intrigued and excited to see what musical ability the ghost had to offer, Noah followed the instructions.
Sorba. Hey, say hi to Jackson, Haven, and Harper. Hey kiddos, it's Uncle Noah. I wanted to let you know I got home last night and I saw a letter from the piano ghost to you guys. I've already read it, but I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, oh gosh, this handwriting is so bad. It says, Dear Haven, Harper, and Jax, I heard y'all are coming to see Noah and Lindsay for Christmas. So I've been practicing a little song to play for y'all. I'll play a little bit of it for you now. I hope you enjoy it. Here are your instructions. Place the letter on top of the piano, turn the piano on for me, and then back away and listen. I hope you enjoy this song, and I can't wait to play for you this Christmas. Love, the friendly piano ghost. All right, so let's see. We put the letter up, turn it on, and back away. So let's turn it on for him. And now let's watch him play. Hope he can sit on that bench. It's kind of crooked, but oh well. Oh, whoa. He's scooting it back so he can sit on it. Okay. Well, whatever works. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He's playing. Man, he's good. Yeah, such a cool ghost. All he does is play the piano. Sweet. That was cool. Oh, I guess he's not done. Oh yeah. Rocking and rolling now. He's the best piano player I've ever heard. Alright, I'm gonna quit videoing. And I'm gonna leave so he can play by himself. Love you, kiddos. Bye.
He placed the note on top of the piano, turned the power on, and stepped back to give it space. A few moments later, the seat in front of the piano slid out as if an invisible player had taken their place. Then the piano keys began pressing down one by one in perfect rhythm, playing a recognizable Christmas song, all on their own. The sound filled the room as Noah filmed, clearly in awe. It wasn't a recording or a trick of the light. He could see each key moving as if touched by unseen hands. According to the note, the ghost planned to perform the song for the whole family on Christmas Day, which left Noah equal parts excited and unsettled. The following footage comes from a household camera set up in the sitting room right after the family finished dinner. The room was calm and completely untouched, but little did anybody know that it wasn't going to stay that way. Near the camera, a small child's toy on the desk gives a slight twitch, so subtle you might miss it on first watch. A second later, it shifts again, more abruptly this time, scraping a few centimeters as if nudged by an unseen hand. After a brief pause, it jolts once more, the movement sharper and impossible to blame on vibration. While the family is off-screen cleaning up, the camera catches one more startling moment across the room. From the top of a cabinet, an item tumbles down and hits the floor with a clean clack that cuts through the silence. No one is nearby, no footsteps approach, and nothing else in frame moves. The clip ends with the toy sitting crooked and the fallen object lying where it landed, a quiet room holding on to a very loud mystery. The man in our next clip was standing outside his house late at night when he began to hear faint footsteps that didn't sound like the usual neighborhood sounds. Curious and a little unsettled, he pulled out his phone and started filming to see if he could capture whatever was making the noise. Pointing the camera toward one of his windows, the audio picks up a strange rhythmic galloping sound, almost like a horse running just out of view. The noise grows clearer, echoing through the night air, and at moments, an obnoxiously loud snoring sound can be heard too, adding to the eeriness of the situation. The man stays quiet for most of the video, focusing on recording the sounds as they continue for several seconds before fading into the distance. Some who watched the footage said the noise reminded them of a horse, while others thought it sounded like distant gunfire echoing off buildings. Comment below what you think it sounds like so we can get to the bottom of it. A family was casually filming themselves, hanging out in their sitting room, everyone gathered together and chatting. It seemed like a completely normal moment, but if you pay close attention to the woman standing in the background, something unsettling happens. Her hair suddenly gets tugged back by an unseen force, sharp enough for her to immediately react and grab at it in confusion. She turns to the others and explains that the family has a ghost in the house. For context, she's actually a cousin visiting and doesn't live there. Her sudden declaration leaves everyone looking around at each other, visibly confused and unsure how to respond. Some nervously laugh it off, while others look uncomfortable, trying to figure out if she's joking or serious. The clip spread quickly online, with many viewers pointing out the clear movement in her hair and how genuine her reaction seemed. Whether it was a trick of the light or something paranormal, the moment left a lasting impression. Late one night, Dyra found herself alone in the storage facility she was renting a room in, sorting through some old belongings she'd been meaning to organize. The place was quiet, the kind of silence that makes every little sound echo down the narrow hallways. She pulled out her phone and began recording as she walked through the corridor toward her unit. You'll have to look closely to see what happened in this clip.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the f is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
Zooming down the hallway, she caught something unsettling. A figure kept peeking around the left corner at the very end, pulling back each time as if it didn't want to be fully seen. It happened more than once, quick movements that looked too human to be a trick of the light, yet too strange for someone to actually be there. The building was supposed to be empty, and it was late enough that no staff or other customers were around. Her breathing grew shaky as she slowly made her way forward, unsure if she was dealing with a trespasser or something far worse. The footage left viewers uneasy, with many pointing out how deliberate the peeking looked, as if the figure was toying with her. After a long day at work, the victim of our next clip pulled into his driveway and immediately noticed something strange. The light in his shed was on. This wasn't the first odd thing to happen recently, and he'd started to believe his property might actually be haunted. His neighbors, however, dismissed it as the work of bored teenagers playing pranks. Determined to prove it one way or another, he pulled out his phone and started recording.
I just got home from work, and my shed light is on. Sorry, I'm spanning the yard just to make sure nobody else is out here. I spoke to my neighbor after that last video, and he said his junior high boys have been pulling pranks on people, so I think it's them. But they don't really have anywhere to go, so I'm gonna bust in here and try and catch them. I don't know what they're doing.
Hey! 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 Hey!
As he filmed the shed from a distance, the light began to flicker erratically, turning off and on in a pattern that didn't seem random. Just when it looked like it might stop, a figure appeared inside, faintly illuminated, and turned to face him. Without hesitation, he continuously yelled, "Hey!" and bolted toward the shed. But when he swung the door open, the interior was completely empty. There were no windows, no back doors, and no possible escape route for anyone to have slipped out. That moment shifted his doubts into certainty. This wasn't teenagers messing around. Whatever was inside the shed that night wasn't human. Athena was on vacation at Myrtle Beach when she decided to record a quick video from her balcony, mostly just panning the camera around to show the ocean, the boardwalk, and the people below. She's calm the entire time, sounding relaxed and completely unaware that something else is happening behind her, until she pans the camera.
Beautiful Myrtle Beach.
As Athena slowly turns the camera back toward the sliding glass door that leads inside her hotel room, something incredibly disturbing appears for just a moment. Behind the sheer curtain, a strange girl peeks out from the side, only her face visible in a quick, stiff motion before she pulls back out of sight. The figure doesn't move naturally, and its face looks real, but uncanny at the same time. What makes the whole thing even more unsettling is Athena has no reaction whatsoever. She keeps recording like nothing happened, clearly seeing the girl, but likely entering freeze mode. Viewers pointed out that no one else was supposed to be in her room, and whatever that was standing behind the curtain definitely wasn't a normal person. A group of 4 friends were having a casual sleepover, hanging out late into the night while one of them had already knocked out on the sofa. The guy recording was just messing around with his phone, filming another friend who was standing in the kitchen grabbing snacks. Nothing unusual at first, just normal sleepover energy. That's until something crazy happened. Take a look.
Aí, fim da festa aí, pessoal. Comprei a câmera nova, vamos colocar um vídeo no YouTube aí, ó. Ai, que vergonha, não faz isso. A Josi capotada já, com sono. Aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí. Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho? Mano, eu vi alguma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem alguma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, moleque?
Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. E você vai ver, velho.
As the camera focuses on the friend in the kitchen, something unexpected happens in the background. Behind him, a human-shaped figure glides across from one side to the other. It doesn't walk so much as it moves, too smoothly, almost like it was floating rather than stepping. The person filming immediately pans around to check, but there's nobody there at all. Every person who should have been in the house is accounted for, including the one who jumped up from their sleep. The movement was too fluid, too silent, and too fast to be any of them. Whatever that figure was, it wasn't a friend sneaking around. It was something else entirely, and everyone watching the footage agreed it looked anything but human.